Hi, I'm Keith. I hope you've enjoyed the pictures I've shared. In this video, I'd like to present some tricks that have helped me really capture the essence and beauty of the subjects in my photos. Although some of the gear I use is expensive, you need to realize that with the right app or adapter, these tips and tricks will apply to any camera system, even your phone.
So right now we're out here, it's really early, blue hour, waiting for the sun to come up. And when you're photographing landscapes, there's two things that are really important. Your composition, I like to find an anchor for my foreground. So right now, this rock here in the river is gonna work perfectly for that.
Now, if you're wondering how I make the foreground look so good and balanced,
I use these are split neutral density filters. These are really handy. You can see that it's half dark, half clear. And what that does is it balances your exposure out. And it's really critical for getting a nice even exposure when you're shooting landscapes.
as I finished that shot, the sun began to rise. As you can see from this video, the change in color temperature has been dramatic from blue hour to golden hour. You can enhance the mood of your image by adjusting your camera's white balance before and after sunrise. Now let's quickly talk about shutter speed. Normally for action shots you need a fast shutter, like 1/500th of a second or more, so everything is crisp and sharp. You can also mix it up by using a slow shutter speed, which will give your photo a sense of movement. As luck would have it, a few ducks flew right across the river. With my shutter speed at 1/20th of a second, panning with the birds as I shoot keeps them in focus while the background is blurry. Here's the final shot, plus an example of the same images shot with the fast and slow shutters for comparison. This technique will work in all types of different scenes, even in urban environments with people. The slower your shutter speed, the longer of an exposure the camera will make. This technique opens up a lot of possibilities, and it translates perfectly into landscape photography.
Now, the reason this is a handy thing to do is you can get motion within your photo, like clouds moving across the scene, and instead of capturing these clouds in their normal texture, as they move, they tend to smear, and it gives you a real, sort of ethereal look that you normally wouldn't see. In landscape photography, depth of field is really an important element. When you want to shoot a photo where the foreground is in focus, all the way up to the mountains, you're going to need to use a really small aperture, like something like f/22.
The important thing to remember is a small aperture helps keep everything in focus by creating a large depth of field, while large apertures provide a shallow depth of field.
Now remember, you don't need tons of gear to take great pictures. These hints will work with any camera system, including your mobile phone. I hope you found some inspiration from these tips and tricks. I encourage you to get out and try these ideas. Great pictures are just a few clicks away.